Hey guys, this is Mr. H. Hey, I want to do a quick video on doing linear regressions, basically coming up with the equation, correlation coefficient, and then interpreting it. Best way to do this is just to do a couple examples. So I'm going to do about 2 or 3 examples, and hopefully that'll be enough for you. All right, so let's go. This is a Delta Math assignment. I'm going to start with question 1. All right, normally you have a data table of data, and you basically going to have to enter that into your calculator. So let me read this. It says the table below shows the amount of money a popular movie earned in millions of dollars its first 6 weeks in the theater. So what we need to do is we're going to enter this data in our spreadsheet, and then we need to come up with an equation, a linear regression equation, and we're going to write it here, and then we're going to come up with the correlation coefficient, and we're going to interpret that. So let's go. So I need the calculator. You got to use the calculator in this. There's no way around it. So let me go grab the calculator. What we have is going to go here to the table. This is going to be X. This is going to be Y. And then we're just going to enter the X, Y, and Z. So it's X, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was 6 weeks of data. We want to go up to the top. For the Y, that's the amount of money that they earned. So they earned 185 million in the first week, 150 million in the second week, 90 in the third, 50 in the fourth, 25 in the fifth, and 5 million in the sixth. All right. So once I got this, I'm just going to go to the home screen. You know how we do this. Data statistics. We're going to put the X down here. We're going to put the Y here. And then, now, regardless of what this looks like, it's always, they're telling you that it's a linear regression. So you're just going to go menu, or regression 6, and then you're going to use this one, show linear, the mx plus b. Now, it comes up with the equation for you. Now, the thing that you have to focus on is what did they round it to? So this is rounded to the hundredths place. So how do I know that? Because it has 2 decimal places. Now, this r squared, you can ignore that for this problem. We're not going to use the r squared. Let me say that again. We don't care about the r squared in this particular problem. What we care about is this. Now, let's go back to this. Now, we're supposed to round it to the hundredths place. So that is already rounded to the hundredths place. So all we're going to do is we're going to take that equation and we're going to type it in here. So let me see if I can do that right now. So I'm going to move this over. So it's going to be y equals a negative 37. So I'm going to type that in right here. It's going to be y equals a negative 37. What was it? 0.57x. Now, and then it's going to be plus 215.67. All right, so that is the equation, and it's rounded to the hundredths place. Now we have to come up with the correlation coefficient. So please pay attention. From here, what we're going to do, because there's a screen that will calculate it for us. Like once we run the regression, there's a screen that's going to calculate it for us. So let me go there. So I'm going to go back to the home screen, and I'm going to use this calculate screen right here. Now, all I'm going to do is go menu, and I want statistics because the correlation coefficient is a statistic. And so all we got to do now is go to the stats results. You're going to get this bold. That means that you've run a regression and there's some data in here. If this wasn't bolded, that means there's no data, which means you have to run a regression first. Now, when I press enter, it gives me the statistics. Now, these numbers have not been rounded. They're just all of the decimals all the way out. What we want is the correlation coefficient, which is going to be the R. And they want us to round this to the hundredths place. So that means 2 decimals, because 100 has 2 zeros, so it's going to be 2 decimals. So all we're going to do, first things first, find your place. Look the number to the right in the space. If it's 4 or below, let that shit go. So if you do that, we're going to go to the 8, look the number to the right in the space. It's 4. So 4 below, you just let all this shit go. And our answer is going to be a negative 0.98 or 98 cents. So that's what I'm going to enter for this. So I'm going to go here, and I'm just going to enter negative 0.98. That's it. And then now, what does that mean? So here's what it means. If you notice, as the weeks go higher, the amount of money that we earn goes negative. So that means every week that the movie is out, fewer people are going to see it. So the variables, the number of weeks and the amount of money, those variables go in opposite directions. So they are that's why we have this negative correlation. Now, here's the one thing you guys have got to see. So I'm going to jump here real quick. Let me go ahead and, because we're almost done. So I'm going to go split view. Now I'm going to go pull this up because I need you guys to see something real quick. This. All right. Now, whenever you're talking about the correlation coefficient, it is, this isn't all showing up. I'm going to make it smaller so you can see it. The correlation coefficient goes from a -1 to a +1. Anything that's close to 0 means there's no correlation. So ours was a -98 cents, so it would be right over here, which means it's strong. That means it's a strong negative correlation. So that means there's a strong correlation and it's negative between the number of weeks that the movie is out and the amount of money that it makes. Those two variables, those two variables go very closely together, but they work in opposite direction. That's all they're saying. So all we're going to do is we're going to come here. We don't need this. We're just going to say, which one? Is it strong positive, strong negative, weak positive, weak negative? It is strong negative. We do that, and then we submit it. And let's see what we got. And it says, nice job. All right, so let me go back over this. Correlation coefficients or linear regressions, they're going to give us some data on X and a Y. We're just going to use the spreadsheet. We're going to go through and make sure we enter all the data. Then we're going to run a regression. We're going to use menu 461. And when we get that regression, the one thing we have to pay attention to is what they tell us to round it to. In this particular instance, they wanted us to round to the hundredths place. So the regression that we ran was already set up to run to the second decimal place. So we were good. But if it was something else, we'd have to change it. Also, the correlation coefficient, we also needed to round that. But there is a screen on the main calculator screen called the stat results. Once you choose that, it's going to have the correlation coefficient for you. It's always going to be the R. All you have to do again is round it. Later on, I'm going to show you guys how to use the calculator to round it, but you should know how to round it. Remember, 5 or above, give it a shove. 4 or below, let that shit go. You need to know how to round. If you've forgotten how to round, go back and watch the videos on rounding. Go back to some of the Delta Math assignments on rounding. Practice. All right, I am going to stop and I am going to post this.